you should have had your credentials sent to you by email and that should have included a student number between 1 and 25. Send as a JSON file and a link to your lab environment. Now, if you click on that link, you should end up in something that looks like this. You should see something like this. So just some pointers for those of you. This is a VS Code based IDE. It's interactive. It's over the web. So you have, each one has their own. Just some basic getting started stuff. I have a terminal up and running, but if you don't have a terminal up in the bottom, you can get to it from this little hamburger icon here. We can get all your different drop-down menus here and bring up a workspace. One of the first things you're going to want to do is when you start working on these exercises is that there's some things that have been parameterized. So I'm going to make you aware of these different languages, right? And the first one being, one of the things you're going to want to do is everybody has their own, by default, we're trying to use student one configuration file. Obviously that's different. So the one that you sent you're going to want to use yourself. And so you can change that sort of thing and save it. Okay. Now, but first, in order to get access to that, you should have been emailed that. So when you download it, you can go to you can have downloaded this JSON file, right? And so in order to get access to it here, it's as simple as dragging and dropping it right onto your desktop. It's going to copy it and it's going to show you the contents for you automatically. And you'll see that now it's available. So you first want to change, but the key is here that you're now using a different, you brought your credentials into the platform that looks like this. It'll be a JSON file, name it like this, SN dev advocate -student, your student number, and then put in the contents as JSON here, right? So the type, the client ID, client secret, client email, and you'll make a file that looks something like this. Then you'll be all set. And that'll be available for you to use. The second part, once you've created this file, is again, you want to do a massive search and replace. You've also been given your own tenant to work in. So if you look for student 01 in the code, you'll come up with multiple matches. You'll just want to replace that with your particular student ID. This is going to ask you to say yes. Now, my particular case, don't be alarmed that it won't let you save in some of it because just the way the files are. Basically, everything in this messaging base workspace, there's a read-only file system for the IDE, but the changes will be made in these platforms. The solution, exercise, et cetera, will all be changed. And so the key is anywhere you see student 01, you want to do a mass replace and have that information set up to be student 0, whatever your ID is that you've been assigned. And that will give you the proper credentials as well as the proper tenant namespace as well. And then you're all set. So now if you look for student 0, for example, this is all in the code, right? So again, when you start writing the code itself, we'll see that here that you have different tenant IDs. You're going to make sure that yours matches what your student ID is in all these different cases. That's used throughout. So again, everybody has their own tenant. If you have any issues connecting or connectivity, first check for that. And then again, the other thing I want to point out is be sure to always check the READMEs. The READMEs will tell you how to run these examples once you think they're ready to go. You can play with them and change them around. So again, they're all run through the Maven terminal. So once you're in the proper subdirectory, you can just run the Maven from here and it'll work just fine. And those are your environments. So everything should be up and running.